Hello, kindred spirits. Welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be looking into any energy, insights, and guidance on their way in for you, as well as a 2-week ahead charm energy forecast going week by week. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here today. We are going to be looking at, like I said, a 2-week ahead energy forecast for you using the charms as well as any letters and numbers and all that fun jazz. But we're also going to be pulling some main energy cards and others, so do stay tuned for those. We'll look at each of these here in a moment, but if you'd like to support the space a little bit, do feel free to subscribe, and you're also welcome to check out the Kindred tip jar down below. Everything that goes in there goes right back into the channel, so it's a great way to support this space. And I also have Samhain spell and ritual papers out right now, which are so much fun. I only have 5 sets left, so definitely feel free to check those out down below. They're a great way to manifest things, to write to your spirits and loved ones beyond the veil, to try your hand in some automatic writing, or to use it in other Samhain rituals and spell work around protection and the darker days of the year. So those are available if you want to check those out, and we're going to go ahead and start looking at your piles. So for each of the piles, I was really feeling the fall colors. So for pile number 1, you have the crystal of Citrine, although I'm pretty sure it's probably just a dyed piece of clear quartz, but nonetheless, it's really beautiful. So this is pile number 1. And here for pile number 2, you have this piece of calcite with its cute little crackles. So that is pile number 2. And then last but not least here for pile number 3, you have this piece of green Aventurine. So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me so you can connect with your intuition, connect with the piles, take a little moment for yourself here. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles, you can change your mind, you can flip-flop however you wish. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you want to support this space, definitely check out those Samhain spell and ritual papers before they're gone, as they are a lot of fun, and I'm going to definitely be using them in my Magick this year as well. So with that all said, let's get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you decide to choose this piece of citrine / the yellow stone here, then this is the pile for you. I'll set it here so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be dipping our toes into the charms, the letter tiles, the numbers, and the deck of choice today being the Woodland Warden's Oracle. So we're going to be playing around with all of those, and we're going to begin right away, first off with your letter tiles and numbers to look into any significant dates, any oracle words that we can spell together, or we can also look into these to make sure there aren't any initials or other people that might be significant to your next 2 weeks. So do feel free to get yourself settled and cozy for this, and let's just start diving in, group 1. Let's just get right to it. So group 1, what do you got coming in for the next 2 weeks? Okay, so speaking of K, we have the letter K, A, B, S, and V, as well as the hidden letters of X, A, and I. So we have a really good combination. I always like to look to see if there's more vowels than consonants, and there's a good little combination here, so it feels like communication is pretty balanced over the next 2 weeks for you. I saw like KAB making me think of like people's names or something. Makes me think of like a taxi cab, or it was, for whatever reason, like the word kebab came into my head. So there could also be like where you feel either you're like literally grilling or eating kebabs or something, or it could also be like more of a reference to the skewer. So we're going to see how that kind of combines with the other elements that you get here today. I'm going to just keep it in my mind. We have sieve as well, which makes me think that you might be purifying, cleansing, or, sifting through something over the next 2 weeks. So some cleaning, maybe some fall cleaning, spring cleaning, depending on where you are. But those are the ones that I'm seeing here. I don't want to dwell on them too much because I'm not getting a ton, but do feel free to scramble those up and see what you see. But we're going to look at your numbers now in the same fashion. We're going to be looking into any significant numbers over the next 2 weeks. So these could be specific dates, or you could even see them as angel numbers, repeating numbers, signs and signals from spirit, however you wish, or even just with numerology. But let's go ahead and mix these up. Ooh, I gave you a lot today. You guys have some numbers. So let's just have a little look. So first off, you can look at these with the colors as well. They might be significant to colors. So we have a 1 and a 2 in black. We have a 1, an 8, and a 13 in red. And then we have a 2 and a 2 in both blue and orange. So we have 222 showing up here in case you're looking for any repeating numbers. We also have 11, which is a wish-making number. So there might be wishes or things that you're trying to manifest right now, trying to bring forward, or kind of put your desires out there and hope that they actually come to fruition. We also had the number 12 show up here right off the bat. So the 12th of the month or the 21st of the month might be really important or impactful for you, as well as the 13th and the 18th. So a lot happening within the teens of the month, the 22nd, and then with the 13th number as well. 13 represents a number of, it correlates to the death card. So there also can be more of that cleansing element coming in here a little bit more. So we're going to see how that all comes together with the rest of your charms as we move forward. But do feel free to, as always, see these how you see fit. And we are going to go ahead and pull you your main energy for the next 2 weeks. So this is going to be the big one. We're going to see what the main energy is that's coming through, the main thread over the next 2 weeks that you have coming in. So what is that main thread, that main theme over the next 2 weeks for group 1 here? And definitely feel free to send your energy in. Feel free to connect or put your own energy into the reading. Group 1. Okay, so let's see what you got here. So you have one of my favorites, which is the antelope and wheat. There's just something that feels so fall about this one, that feels so harvesty, and wholesome. Definitely has llamas feelings to it, but we have nourishment here as the main word. So the main thread for you is nourishment, however you see fit. So that doesn't have to necessarily strictly mean like what is nourishing like in terms of food, but it can also be like what are the activities that you're doing during your day? What actions are you taking, and are they nourishing actions? Are they ones that are going to help you continue to grow, to give you sustenance, to fill your inspiration, to get you going, to get you motivated, or to give you rest and healing if needed? Whatever it might be, whatever your desire is, are you taking the actions? Are you taking the steps that can help you, even if they're very small, even if they're just little steps throughout the day? Are there things that you're taking right now to give you some sort of nourishment and to fuel you as you move forward towards those desires, those goals, those plans and healing that you might be after? So because we're only pulling one card today and there's a pretty small entry here, I thought we'd look at the antelope and wheat here to give you a little bit more to think about over the next 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and read on this card a little bit. So the antelope are associated with community. Traveling in large herds, they work together to detect predators, locate food, and care for the young and old. This way, the group supports the thriving of each individual. Likewise, golden sheaves of wheat are an ancient symbol of prosperity, a relatively easy grain to grow, store, and convert to flour, and a staple crop around the world. Wheat is closely associated with wealth and abundance. Together, the antelope and wheat call us to nourish ourselves and our communities. So upright, which I feel like you guys are getting here, but I'll read the reverse as well. But it says, upright, you are feeling fulfilled, nourished, and secure. Celebrate your good fortune by sharing it with others in need. Invest in your community and ensure that you are supported in leaner times. As for reverse, because some of you might be feeling a little bit less so on this card, we have, you may be feeling neglected or overlooked. While you may be tempted to hide away, try to emulate the antelope, rarely without its pack. Your friends and companions can help nourish you back to vitality. Who or what makes you feel nourished, and what fills your proverbial cup? So that is the entry, just a little food for thought there on the antelope and wheat for you. I like the idea that where I was talking about how you can get nourishment through your actions and what you put out there, it can also be not only nourishment for you, but like it says, for your community as well. So your loved ones, your family, your friends, your coworkers, the people that you're around daily. Even just smiling to a clerk or someone who maybe looks like they're down on their luck. Like just having those small little interactions can make such a big difference as well. So I am curious to see how that continues forward as we look into the next portion of your reading, where we are going to dive into the charm casting cloth here, or the mat here, to look into your next 2 weeks in terms of like an energy forecast. So we're going to look more so on that nourishing message here with the main energies showing up. So anything that falls here, we'll have to talk more on that. As for your next 2 weeks, we're going to look into this little needle shape for week 1, and anything that falls in the second one will be for week 2, and anything else we'll talk about individually. So to start us off, I think it's too perfect that finally this actually matches the theme of the next month here with the spooky season. So very excited about that. But we are going to be playing around with the tarot tiles here, the Charmcast Tarot, and then we will be pulling right after that some charms for you. So let's go ahead and start here. So do feel free to send your energy in, and let's see what comes back. So interestingly, you actually had one just fly all the way over here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm going to see if it does it again. It doesn't, but it still fell backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back, but on the off chance that the Three of Cups is showing up here for you, maybe it's just a reminder, honestly, because you didn't have anything else fall in here, and the antelope was feeling like in that reverse message, it was talking about like having to make sure that you can lean on your friends and allowing yourself to lean on your community too when you're down. This also has that same sort of energy with the Three of Cups. So this also might be a message for a few of you, especially since it fell reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there just in case. But let's go ahead and pull you some charms too, and then we'll talk about each of these. So do feel free to send, your energy in. I'm going to try not to drop all of these, but do feel free to send your energy in, and let's get right into it. Okay. So we have a good little array here. Let's go ahead and look into it. So we're going to start here in the center. As I already talked about, you only had the one thing fall in here, which was more of that emphasis on the antelope and wheat with nourishment, in terms of leaning on your own community, or maybe there's someone in your community right now who needs a little bit of help or needs a little bit of assistance. So it can go either way. You might be the person who needs the assistance, or you might be giving some assistance, some care, and some love and aid towards someone in your community. So it could go either way, but I definitely am feeling that as a theme over the next 2 weeks for you. As we move forward, though, I'll go ahead and zoom you out a little bit here. Let's go ahead and look at everything here for week 1. So you have 3 different cards showing up here. We have the Sun card showing up here at the bottom. Then we have the 4 of Swords. And then underneath all of that, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So this is an interesting one. It feels like you are going to have it feels like, first off, because you have the wagon, you're going to have a pretty slow first week. It's going to feel slow, but it doesn't feel sluggish, because we do have more of that support coming in from your community, because this is a huge community card. It represents community, legacy, people who are, in your neighborhood, in your community even, kind of coming together, or it's going to be like possibly helping you, or again, you're helping them, can go either way, through sort of a situation where you're kind of resting or healing, because the 4 of Swords represents taking a rest, taking some time to heal, taking some time out from a situation. So it really feels like either you or someone else, especially in the first week, are going to need your aid or going to need your help, or your community is going to be there for you as you go through sort of a long haul situation, or something that's going to feel like kind of sluggish and you've got to move through it, right? Wagons are definitely not the easiest form of transportation, but they get you where you need to go. But it definitely takes more maintenance, takes more time. Covered wagons, they were hard. That was some rough stuff. So when we think about that, it means that you might be going through something rough, or someone else is going through something rough in this first week. And because you have the black and white charm too, it might be that it's a little bit of both, right? There might be a little bit of both happening here, because we have, it's not so black and white, it's a little bit more blurred. But it is not all doom and gloom, or it is not all, difficult and a lot to slug through with that first week, because we also have the Sun, which represents joy. It represents childlike wonder. It represents taking a little bit of some time to get out in nature, or to really feel the warmth of those around you. And then we also have the music kind of energy coming in here with the violin. So I really feel like music can maybe give you a lot of joy, or to give you a lot of healing and comfort over the next first week, coming into the first week, so that might be something as well that might give you a little bit of joy, or bring you a little bit of sunshine, or bring someone else a bit of sunshine in your life. And then here for the second week, interestingly, you have the Knight of Swords charm, and then you have a charm that's very, very similar. I don't know if you can tell from where you're at, but just look at how similar the setup of these two are. They're both standing, holding something. They're in the exact same position. So it really feels like there might be a situation as well that you are going to be acting on in the second week to give a bit of kindness, or even joy and humor and playfulness, because the little bear charm with the little flower here always makes me think of giving, when little kids just go outside and they pick a dandelion, they bring it in, and it's something so simple, but that simple act of kindness, that simple act of gift giving or care or comfort it means so much more than they'll probably even know. And so I just think it's really sweet that you have this coming in. So I really feel like in the second week as well, you're going to get more opportunities for either someone else to give you some more acts of kindness, or you're going to be able to return the favor. And it definitely feels like twofold, right? So it feels like double the energy happening on that one. So some gift giving, some care, some comfort, acts of service sort of situation. And then we have a little tortoise shell showing up here in the second week. So it is going to be slow growth, slow baby steps, taking your time in the second week. I don't think the next 2 weeks is about rushing anything. It's about taking your time, double checking things. That kind of energy is, the turtle wins the race energy coming in. And then we also have that you're gonna be hopefully less busy in the second week, although this might not resonate for everyone. But because we had the basket fall upside down, usually this means you have too many eggs in your basket, right? You're overloaded by it. But it's literally like maybe plans are gonna all of a sudden open up in the second week, or you're gonna get more time than you thought you would in the second week as well. And to finish off your reading, you do have 2 more charms here on the moons. So you can see these as actual timing, or you can see them as in relation to what each of these moons represent. So it kind of just depends. But right after the first quarter moon, whenever you're watching this, if that shows up for you within when you're watching this, we do have a change up of style. So earlier when I was talking about kind of purging or shifting or changing your environment, putting up decorations or doing some spring cleaning or something like that, I definitely could see that happening, even if it's after these 2 weeks around this moon, right before the full moon. I think you're gonna all of a sudden get a burst of energy to do something like that, to maybe even change up your wardrobe, because this usually represents to change up your style or to change up your space in some way. And then speaking a little bit more on change, as we are on our way towards the new moon and right after the last quarter moon, we have the number 5 showing up here. So I always think of this as change, a change in something. And it also has more of that it's not so black and white feeling that I got earlier. So it might be something that you're changing that is seemed more complicated at first, but maybe isn't as complicated as you think. So a little bit more ambiguous, that one, but those are all of the charms and cards and everything that I have for you here today. I'll just show you these again in case you're curious, but these are all of the charms, all of the cards for you here today. If you did enjoy this reading, if you got something out of it, do be sure to give this video a like. Really does help the channel, so thank you. And let me know in the comments down below, what did you see in the charms? What did you see in the little bear, in the violin, or anything else that really struck your fancy here? I would love to hear. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, and so much more. And during this month, I am going to be doing another trick-or-treat video, as well as hopefully, I've got a lot of things happening, but hopefully some other fun artsy videos too for some art magic this month. So do stay tuned. And yeah, I do believe that is everything. If you want to support the channel even further, the Kindred tip jar is down below. And I also am selling Samhain spell and ritual papers right now. So great way to support yourself and the channel. And yeah, that is everything. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of Carnelian, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it here so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be diving in to look into your next 2 weeks. We're going to be using the charms, as well as the letter tiles, the numbers, and an oracle deck today with the Woodland Wardens. So I'm very excited to see what you have coming in. Do feel free to get yourself cozy, get yourself settled here, and we're going to start looking into your next 2 weeks. So we're going to start off first by looking into your numbers and your letters. So these are going to be showcasing any initials or names or places or dates or oracles oracle words that show up for you over the next 2 weeks, and anything that might be important. So feel free to play around with these, see what comes in for you, use your own intuition as we move through this. And we're going to do the same with the rest of the numbers and the charms. So let's start here first with the letters. Okay, we have a lot. And immediately I see rare. So something rare, an unusual event, or something that comes, like once in a blue moon, or like a birthday or a bigger rare event or rare artifact or rare thing might be showing up for you over the next 2 weeks. Immediately I was, called to that with everything that we have here. But we also have, R-A-R-E, as well as another R, another E, and a B here. So we're going to see everything else. We have an M, an A, an S, another A, a G, and an E. Okay. So we have like age showing up here. Mass age is making me think too that like maybe someone in your life is going to be very important who's older than you, or someone you look up to who has more experience than you in something. There also might be, again, a rare event showing up here, a birthday of some sort. We also have here mage showing up here as well, with the rare is mage or something like that. So there also might be some rare magic that you're playing around with. I mean, this is October as of when I'm putting this out, so that wouldn't be surprising. But we have mage showing up here as well, with a bit of spooky magic. And then I'm not really getting a ton here, maybe red, but it says reb here, so I'm not getting a ton else outside of that, but you're welcome again to, write these down, mix them up, see what comes in for you. But I definitely felt the rare. That one came in strongly and all at once, so definitely am feeling that one. But let's go ahead and look a little further at your numbers. So very similarly to the letters, we're going to use these to look into any significant dates, or also to look into any angel numbers, signs and signals from spirit, some numerology, all that kind of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and pull these. I am just feeling generous today. Usually I only pull like one or two, or sorry, like 3 or 4, and we've got a lot here. So you can see these based off of groupings with the different colors, or by number, but we have the number 11, we have 1, we have 8, 6, 12, and another 1. So we've got 1, 1, 1, 1 in a way. So that is saying like 11, 11. This is definitely a wish-making manifestation, magic kind of number showing up here. So we have more of that energy showing up here. So very fun. We also have 68 or 86 and the 12th. So the 11th, the 12th, the 16th, or the 18th might be very important dates for you over the next 2 weeks. Also the 8th or the 6th, although depending when you're watching this, it just kind of depends. But mostly I'm just feeling that 11, 11, 11 kind of message showing up here, of manifestation, making your desires known to the universe and to see them come back. But we're going to look a little further. So let's go ahead and pull you your main thread, your main energy that's coming over, overarchingly over the next 2 weeks for you. So this is the really big one. This is the big kicker, that kind of shows us the whole picture, from a really grand scheme. So do feel free to send your energy in, as always. I say that all the time, but it really does make a difference. So let's see, group 2. Next 2 weeks. What do you got coming in the next 2 weeks, group 2? Okay. So the one that you got here is the mouse and buttercup with innocence. Innocence being the main word. This is very, very similar to the Fool card, with innocence, kind of diving into something, just having the belief in order to, kind of like the idea of like being able to just all of a sudden when you were a kid thinking if you flapped your wings hard enough, you'd be able to fly because you believed in it, you believed in yourself. And sometimes reality hits hard, when you're trying to jump really high and you think that that'll work, but I feel like there is this really big belief with the idea of rare magic and the idea of age showing up here, almost like an age is just a number. There is a lot of innocence, inner child play, creativity, wonderment. Very exciting. Love this energy that's coming through. So let's go ahead and look at the guidebook, because I always am curious to see, especially on these 2-week readings, when we have a little bit more time to look a little deeper, what this has to say. So I know this is the first card in the deck, so we're going to go ahead and pull that one out and have a little look-see here. So in case you want to read yourself, here it is. But I'm going to go ahead and read here with you guys. So, the mouse and buttercup. Innocence. Like the Fool in a tarot deck, the mouse and the buttercup is numbered 0. Both cards mark the start of a journey, and both remind us that we have so much to learn. Mice are grounded and innocent, yet anyone who has dealt with a mouse in their own house knows that they are determined and highly adaptable. The mouse is paired with the humble buttercup, a symbol of childhood and innocence. Have you ever held a buttercup under your chin? According to a centuries-old children's game, if the reflection of a flower glows yellow on your skin, it reveals that you like butter. I don't think I've ever read that. Anyway, let me know if you guys have ever done that. Upright, if the card is upright, you may be embarking on a journey or starting down a new path. Remember that innocence and a lack of understanding are not negative qualities. Instead, they remind us of our capacity for growth, adaptability, and learning. Reverse, you may be unprepared for what you undertake. Consider how you might adapt and learn to better lay the groundwork for future endeavors. And then they give you 2 different questions to consider. What do you hope to learn on this new path? And what potential dangers should you look out for? So the idea of dangers showing up too is making me think too of like simple dangers to a mouse may seem very simple to us, right? So like a crow isn't really that scary to us, or like a little bird, or like a tall tree or something like that. It doesn't always have to be that scary to us, but to a mouse, right, they've got to climb all the way up the tree. They have to find a way through our outdoor furniture, right? They've got to navigate underneath the kitchen stove, right? They have to see things from a very different perspective too, a very young, different perspective. So there also is a flip of perspective showing up here with your card that's coming up for me. So there also could be just like a change in mindset or a flip in perspective that takes you back to a younger experience or reminds you of a younger experience for you, or kind of puts you back into that mindset of being, maybe the less experienced person in the room, which isn't, again, necessarily a bad thing. It just means you're still very highly adaptable. You're still at a point where it's very easy to pivot and to change. So I really like this card for you guys. I'm very curious to see what else you have coming in for your next 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and zoom you out here, and we'll start in with the charms. So if you guys have been here before, you probably already know this, but I'll let you know again. The way that we're going to use the mat today to look into your next 2 weeks is we are going to look at any charms that fall here in the center, more to do with your main energy of innocence. But then we'll also look into this little noodle shape for week 1, and any charms that fall in this little noodle shape for week 2. As for the moons, they talk more about timing. So let's start out first with your charm tarot tiles here, the charm tarot. I love that this actually is in theme for once, so we're gonna go ahead and play around with these. So do feel free to send your energy in there, and let's get pulling these. You had a lot of charms trying to come out today. And clearly one wanted to fly all the way over here, so I am curious. This did fall on your 11-11-11 message, so let's go ahead and look at that one. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands showing up here next to your 11-11 manifestation message. So this is telling me too that you're really putting in that very fiery energy. If you are doing any rare magic or manifestations using fire of any way you want to, whether that's through a stone that correlates to fire, an herb, using an actual candle, burning paper, or anything like that, that could be really useful and helpful in your magic. But beyond that, we also have a few more showing up here. So we're going to see how these relate as we move forward. But let's go ahead and first pull you some more context here with the charms. So do feel free to send your energy in. And let's mix these up, group 2. Oh my goodness. Lots of charms. Let's look here. As I was moving those as well, I kept usually I kind of scrunch them around in a different way. And today I just felt like I needed to grab all of them in a way. It just felt like the energy that you guys were bringing forward here with innocence is like you're ready to just grab everything in the room and play around with it and see what works and see what doesn't. Like you're just grabbing a big handful or leaping right into it. So there's a lot of really big leaps that might be happening, big successes, big leaps, big triumphs that you're going through in this next 2 weeks. So we'll keep that in mind. But let's start here in the center. So the charms that I'm seeing here, these really feel related to week 2. The ones that we have here, we have first off the Four of Pentacles reversed, which represents kind of like leaping away from certain foundations. From that totally makes sense with innocence, right? Like you're kind of moving away from what you've always known, or leaving certain foundations behind. And being maybe a little bit more risky. It's kind of turning the wheels on safety and kind of playing around with some more risk in these as a main energy for the next 2 weeks. Another card that you have here, we have the this totally makes sense too. We have the not the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, which is really funny because this actually is a card of manifestation and wishes. It's a wish-making card. So that totally makes sense with the card you got earlier, and the numbers with 11, 11, 11. So if you guys have been really feeling that energy, this is the week to make wishes. Like I said, some of you might be having, a rare event show up with age. So a birthday, an anniversary that you can make a wish on a candle or something like that. So really take your time thinking about what you're going to wish on, because that's definitely coming through. Otherwise, it could just be also that you're feeling very fulfilled over the next 2 weeks, and it's just feeling really good. You're feeling really good. We also have the community charm, and then below that we have the penny. So this is interesting because you actually got the penny in the position of being like less lucky. So there might be someone in your community as well who's kind of either down on their luck, or they're not having as much luck right now, that maybe you're having to help out with. If you're really feeling that energy, definitely check out pile number 1. Otherwise, there also is just like that you might be, oh my goodness, interesting that it did actually flip, that you might be feeling like a flip in your luck, or that luck is shifting for you, whether that's one way or the other, or shifting within your community. So your community being your friends, your family, your actual neighborhood, a community online, however you see fit. As for your second week, we have a few little different things showing up here. So first off, you have the Justice card showing up reversed. So the Justice card usually when upright represents, legality. It represents consequences to our actions. It represents a neutral sort of perspective on things, right? Not taking sides, that kind of thing. And then the fact that it kind of showed up kind of all by itself up here is just telling me that in the first week you might find that there could be some conflicts that show up, that there might be someone who doesn't have that neutrality coming in. There might be a little bit more of like they're picking or choosing sides. So that might be something to keep in mind in the first week. We also have the little honey pot. This makes me think of like Winnie the Pooh, with like a little honey pot that says hope here. So you might be feeling more hopeful, especially with people in your life who are, whether you're doing a selfless act of kindness or something, or if someone else is bringing in a little bit of hope towards you, that is showing up here in the first week, that you might be finding some hope through selfless acts of kindness. Then we have a whole little cluster down here with the number 12, a feather, a little cat here, a dancer, a ballerina, and then a sewing machine. So a lot of things happening here, especially with 12 making me think of a dozen. So you might just have a lot happening in the first week as well. You might have a more busy week. Things are keeping you busy through crafts and through projects that you're doing, right? Because the sewing machine makes me think of like almost like an industrial feeling, like you're kind of just like getting some stuff done, churning some stuff out. Especially also with the dancer, it's making me think like you're spinning like a top. So I feel like things are just flying forward. You're feeling like you're making really big leaps possibly in the first week here, and that you're able to accomplish as much as you could in 2 weeks in the first week, right? Like it almost feels 2 weeks long because there's so much going on. You also have like the cat too, which is like that little those magnetic cats that you can stack. So it makes me think too that you're again like balancing on something, balancing. The feather is also like, even though it's a lot happening, you're still seeming like quite feather light. So even though there's a lot of a load, of a workload, it seems like you're enjoying it though. It seems like you're still having fun. Oh, I just realized you couldn't see everything, but it feels like you are having fun, so that's good. As for your second week, where we were talking about luck changing, luck moving onto your side, I find it interesting that you got the lucky clover here with the 4 different leaves here, and then you also got the little lucky ladybug. So luck is definitely on your side if you look for it and you listen for it, because we do have the headphones, which means you need to listen to it. You need to look for those signs, look for the signs of luck around you, and don't like pass them by. So there might be an opportunity that might try to pass you by in the second week, or that you could very easily accidentally say, no to something that you maybe actually wanted to say yes to. Just double check your facts, double check fine print, that kind of stuff. But it does seem like luck is on your side. So, taking those headphones off and being more, aware of that. And then lastly here we have, which totally makes sense with what we were talking about, the Emperor card, which is about protecting yourself. It's about kind of standing your ground, being quite firm, and knowing all of the details as well. So again, it seems like an opportunity might be coming forward for you, possibly from a father figure or someone who is that you just feel like they really know their stuff, right? We have the innocence coming in here, so there might be someone who's just more experienced than you coming forward and giving you an opportunity or a turn of luck for you coming in the second week. So just make sure you listen out for it. And then lastly here for the last charm that you have here, we have the little trees charm. It says since 1952. In case that date is, or those numbers were something you were looking for. But we have the little trees charm. This feels like a refreshing feeling, right? These are like an air freshener that you would get in like a new car or something. And then you have it on the release moon of the last quarter moon. So this could be timing for you. You can look in a moon app to figure that out. But this just feels like it's going to be really refreshing around that day, or you're going to be refreshing something. Maybe that's where that good luck is coming in or turning towards your favor. So that's something else to consider as well. So overall, group 2, those are all of your charms and cards here. I do hope that this was useful to you. I'll go ahead and put these up here in case you want to look again, especially with your mage and rare magic and the charm that flew out here. I do hope this was useful to you, and if it was, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. I'd love to hear what magic you're getting up to, if that's something that you're interested in, or how other charms really interacted with you. I would love to hear. Also, if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, for art magic, for grimoires, for charm casting, and the whole shebang. If you are interested in learning more about charm casting, I actually have a master guide video on that, and would love to hear your guys' thoughts of other videos I could do on charms. But if you want to support the channel even further beyond the YouTube channel, you can check out the Kindred tip jar. Everything that goes in there goes right back into the channel for decks and supplies. And you can also check out the Samhain spell and ritual papers that I have out right now. And you can use those for some rare magic. So all of that will be down below in the description. And yeah, I hope you did enjoy, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of green Aventurine, then this is the pile for you. So we are going to be looking into the next 2 weeks for you, using the charms to do an energy forecast here with the charms, the letter tiles, the numbers, all that fun stuff, and the Woodland Wardens deck here, all of which I'll have listed down below in the description in case you're curious to see what we get up to here today. But we are going to get right into it. I'm feeling it. So let's go ahead and see what you have coming in for your next 2 weeks, group 3. We're moving to group 3 here. Sometimes the numbers just like to flip in my head. But we are going to start off with the letter tiles. So these are going to give us a little bit of information about any oracle messages that come in, or to look into any names, dates, places, street signs, anything of specificity to you. As always, I love to co-create these readings with you and with your own intuition. So see what comes up for you. And then also we're going to be playing around with the numbers as well, and then the charms later on. So do feel free to get yourself cozy, and let's start mixing these up, group 3. Interesting. So you have all of them coming up right. Oh, never mind. We do have one still this way, but we have almost all of them coming up right, which is making me feel like you're going to be very like an open book over the next 2 weeks. So you're going to be less secretive, maybe less masking. Like there is this open book feeling. We also have the letters Q, E, A, T, R, and I, as well as D and N. Ooh, okay, so we have no U to do anything with the Q, which is making me think that you also have a lot of questions and maybe answers. There's going to be a lot of questions and answers to try to figure out over the next 2 weeks. Some investigating, some researching maybe. We also have here, like, I think it's interesting that I said you are like an open book, and then I'm feeling called to put like NDA down here, like a non-disclosure agreement or something like that too. So that might be important for a few of you, where there might be like some legal stuff happening, or you might be going to a place with NDAs or something. But again, that feels like a very specific few of you. But it might be, you know what it also feels like if you don't think of it that way? You can also just think that there might be people who are asking you to hold or withhold information. Even though you want to be an open book over the next 2 weeks, you might find that somebody tells you a secret or asks you to, be the middle person to withhold gossip or hold secrets or keep in information to yourself that maybe you don't necessarily want to, or you weren't expecting to have to do that. So that might also be coming through for a few of you. And then I also am seeing tire show up here as well, like kind of like either tie, even like you're getting tied up into something, or like with the secrets and everything, and even with the fact that it even says like tea here, like, what's the tea kind of vibe. So there could be some gossip going on, but also I'm seeing like tier or tire showing up here as well. So that can literally physically mean, checking your tire or something, but it can also mean that you might tire out very easily this next 2 weeks. There just might be a lot going on that's making you feel a little bit more exhausted. So that might be something to keep in mind as well. But I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. You're welcome to see what comes in for you. And we're going to move it to your numbers. So do feel free to send your energy in as always, but we're going to look into these ones to look into any repeating numbers, numerology, angel numbers, or any important dates for you over the next 2 weeks. So let's pull them. My goodness, I am just giving all of the tiles and numbers and letter tiles today, which is really fun. So we have, first off, the number 26 or 62 showing up here, 11 popping out as well. You can also see these as groupings based off of the oh my goodness, different colors here, but oh my goodness, you have a lot of 11s showing up here, which is really funny because it's been showing up in every single group, some sort of 11 or an 1111 message, and you have it like triple fold here. We also have the number 5 as well as 10. Everything showing up here in orange and red, which is very fiery kind of energy. And then in case you're looking for any important dates, we have the 12th, the 16th, the 15th, the 5th, as well as the 2nd, the 6th, the 10th, or the 11th. But what really struck me was the fact that you had 1111 and then another 1 showing up here. So a lot of manifestation, a lot of wish making, a lot of following your desires, asking the universe for things, magic, and all of that, which totally makes sense. I mean, it is spooky season, but I did find that quite fun that that's been showing up in all 3 of the piles. So if you guys haven't already, you can check out the video that I did on your psychic gifts and magical abilities. I think you guys would love that. But we're going to go ahead and look at your main energy over the next 2 weeks. So we're going to pull a Woodland Wardens card to look into the main energy, the big theme, the big overarching energy for you over the next 2 weeks. So this is the big one, so definitely send in any energy, any personal feelings towards these, and we'll go ahead and pull these. So, group 3. What do you got going on at group 3 for the next 2 weeks? Ooh, that one flew right on out. So let's see what it is. Ooh, love this card. So we have the butterfly and snowdrop, hope. Interesting. So we have hope showing up here. The butterfly also can represent transformation of some sort. It can represent healing, innocence, playfulness even. But the fact that we have like a blue kind of warm, or not warm, but like this very calming blue show up here too, is that there's going to be some hope or calmness that comes in. Despite all of the gossip that we have showing up here, it does seem like, again, you're quite level-headed. You're quite an open book. It just seems like the surroundings that you're around right now might be a little bit on the gossipy side, but it does seem like you're just kind of doing your own thing. Like you're just sort of a bystander to all of it. We have the butterfly and snowdrops. Snowdrops also can represent, like the hope for spring, the hope for an anticipation for something to come forward. So I am curious to see where that takes us. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit on the guidebook because we have a little extra time today. Why not? And see what it has to say. So here we are with hope. So I'll go ahead and put it up here in case you want to read it for yourself. But let's see the butterfly and snowdrop with hope. So it says here, hope. The butterfly and snowdrop, two symbols of spring, remind us that winter will soon end and hope is on the horizon. Butterflies develop through metamorphosis, transforming from an egg into a larva, then becoming a pupa or a chrysalis, and then finally hatching into an adult. The egg stage is so humble, and the full-grown butterfly so astounding. The process can feel like magic. The snowdrop has a bit of magic about it as well. It is one of the first flowers to appear towards the end of winter, signifying that brighter, longer days are just around the corner. So, upright, this represents a period of hardship is coming to a close, and better days are ahead. Take heart in signs for the coming thaw. And then for reverse, it says, now is not the time to act. Remain patient. Snowdrops are not hasty for winter's end, and a chrysalis cannot be rushed to hatch. Given time, both will spring forth in a healthy and beautiful way. And then it gives you a question to consider. What gives you hope in times of scarcity? So there might be something going on right now where, like I said, you're feeling like the energy that I'm getting from you is very chill, very calm and collected. So it does feel that, like, even if things feel kind of in an upheaval stage, or again, like there's a lot going on around you, you're finding ways to string together hope or to find ways to overcome those situations. Not that that's an easy thing, but it does seem that you're doing it quite beautifully and quite elegantly, I suppose, or at least from the outside looking in, it might appear that way. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that connects with everything that we get here as we move forward. So let's go ahead and look at your next 2 weeks through the charms. So as we go through the next 2 weeks, let me go ahead and zoom you out here. We are going to look into your charm casting. So we're going to look first in this central area more on the idea of hope, that main energy. And then we are going to look in this little noodle shape for week 1. Anything that falls here will be on week 1, and anything here will be on week 2. As for the moons, they talk more on timing. So let's go ahead and begin first with the tarot tiles. Again, I've said this in all of the piles here today, but I'm very excited because this actually is in theme. But let's go ahead and pull you a few of these for the spooky season. But let's go ahead and see some more on your next 2 weeks, group 3. And definitely send your energy in. Okay, so all of them came up right again. So again, it's giving me this feeling that you're an open book, even though things may seem maybe scary or difficult for you right now. You're quite an open book, or at least you're opening up in this these next 2 weeks. But let's look a little further for you with the charms to give you more context. So let's go ahead and pull these as well, group 3. Okay, we got a lot of charms. So let's go ahead and look a little further. So let's start first in the center, right? So in the center, you have 3 different charms showing up here. We have the charm of tradition. We have the going a different way charms. This represents taking the road less traveled. And then you have here the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a very confident, very magnetic person. They can be the center of a lot of gossip as well, so that's not too surprising. But the idea that we're seeing this in the idea of hope and the like kind of spreading your wings, chrysalis feeling, is making me think too that you're becoming more confident in your situation, or that you are finding a way to move away from habits or traditions and foundations of people, places, gossip, whatever it might be, right? There's just some sort of foundation or habit or ritual that you're constantly doing that you're kind of parting ways with over the next 2 weeks. You're finding your confidence, you're finding your drive and taking a different direction. And I think that that's really good. It also, you kind of have this one showing up here as well. I'm going to go ahead and take it because it kind of feels connected. You also have like singing your own tune, right? You know, singing, oh my goodness, I can't hold this one, but singing to your own tune in some way, right? Singing from the heart. So it also feels that you're maybe not listening to this gossip anymore, or with the idea that you had tire show up here, it makes me think too that you're becoming tired of it. You're just, you don't really want it for the long game anymore. You're becoming tired. It's becoming, boring or an excuse or something like that is showing up here where you just want to change directions, you want to go a different way, and you're feeling quite optimistic about it because they are holding this sunflower. Also quite assertive, right? Holding kind of space for yourself and kind of, maybe even having to put up some boundaries there with other people as well is showing up here. Taking back your power for sure in these next 2 weeks. But let's go ahead and look at week 1 here. So we'll zoom you out. You have 2 different little sections here, I would say. This one even feels connected, so I'm going to go ahead and put them together. But I feel like it's kind of a cross between both weeks. A bit of peace of mind, again, of that like clarity, peace of mind, open-heartedness. It just keeps showing up here in a lot of different ways. But here in week number 1, you have boundaries showing up here with the 9 of Wands. I hadn't even noticed that when I was talking about that. Yeah, you have the more need for boundaries. If you look at this figure here, they are, kind of stamping out their space and drawing a line between, things that are no longer for them. And so I think you're really doing a lot of that as well. We have the dime showing up here, which kind of has that same sort of energy. If you like look at the actual dime, right, it's kind of got that torch. I don't know if it's going to focus on it, but there's like a little torch here, and it's making me think too of like that 9 of Wands standing in your power, or that Queen of Wands too, of like holding up your own wand and standing in your power. And then we have more of like going a different direction, because we have the knight charm, and this one represents going a different direction. And if you guys have ever played chess, they kind of move a very different and very unique way to those around you. So again, your environment might be kind of toxic right now, but I do think that you are finding a way out of it, or you're finding hope, or finding a different direction in which could lead you to a better place. And you also have like the belief in yourself with faith showing up here. Outside of that though, in this little section of your first week here, we have the Neptune charm, as well as the bubbles of innocence, and then you have the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups and all of this is making me think too, like in the first week, even though you have all of this happening around you, again, like on your own, when you're in your own space doing your own thing, not around all of these people or around this environment, you're like really chilling, you're really enjoying your own time and kind of like reading books, or there's this feeling of like fantasy, storytelling, innocence, play, joy, and like playing in some sort of fantasy that's showing up here in the first week. That like beyond all of this, you're really kind of just emerging and doing something new on your own. And maybe that's where that hope is coming through, because it has very similar colors here. So beyond that though, you got a lot happening in your second week, right? So we have a couple of different little clusters here. We have the originality charm showing up here with the more of that Queen of Wands, that sovereign nature feeling, that taking back your power feeling. So, you know, going towards your own original thoughts. Whenever I see this one and it says original here, it makes me think like not following the group or doing what the crowd is doing, but doing your own original thing and finding a lot of power in that. We also have a little bit of grief possibly showing up here because we do have the Five of Cups. So maybe that's where that hope is coming in as well, that maybe you're moving through some grief. Maybe there is a little bit of a bittersweet feeling towards making this decision to kind of choose yourself. But it does seem like you have some spirit guides really helping you on the other side, or someone coming through on that end when it comes to grief, because you do have the spirit charm showing up here. And as we are getting closer to the veil, or the opening of the veil, the thinning of the veil, this is a great time to connect with spirits beyond the veil. We also have the cat charm. I'm not really feeling a ton from that one. And then we have the 32 megabyte SD card. So whenever I see this one, and it kind of feels like it was almost over here on the moons with the first quarter moon. This one usually represents needing to decide who's worth your time and decide what's worth your time, because this is only 32 megabytes. Only a few pictures are gonna actually fit on this card. So you have to be very selective and very decisive about who you let into your space and all of that. So I think that's coming up here a lot in your first week. There is also a bit of maybe a bit of worry that's showing up here too, in your second week. A bit of worry showing up here too, because we have the worry stone. But it does seem like there's this peaceful energy. So I think things are turning, but you're gonna maybe have to ruffle a few feathers in order to, you know, put out some boundaries and to change the direction in which you are taking right now. So those are all of the charms and cards that I have for you here, group 3. I do hope this was useful for you and was helpful in you navigating your next 2 weeks. Here is a little bit more of these again in case you wanted to look at them. But if you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I'm always curious to see what you saw in the charms, what you saw in the symbolism, in the letters. Always curious, so do let me know if you feel open to it. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, pick a card readings, grimoires, and I also have a master guide video on charm casting if you want to look deeper into the charms. So those are the ways in which you can check out the channel, but you can also support this space by checking out the Kindred tip jar down below, which everything that goes in there goes right back into the channel, so it's a great way to support this space. And you can also check out the Samhain spell and ritual papers that I hand make for you all to sort of uplift your magic this Samhain season, which would be a lot of fun with your 11-11-11 messages. So do feel free to check those out if you are interested. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.